Hi everyone! So for this assignment, I decided to use the lesson plan Gravity Pulls, which is intended for kindergarten through second graders. The lesson objective for this lesson is for that students will be able to understand that gravity is the force pulling on us and causes everything that goes up to come back down. This is a trade book lesson. The trade book that is in this particular lesson is I Fall Down, which is written by Vicky Cobb, illustrated by Julie Gordon. And pretty much this book is a stop and try it format that explains the basics of gravity. Okay, so for our engage phase, to capture students' interest, students will be asked to jump in unison. So on count of 1, 2, 3, jump. All students are going to jump at the same time, and then the teacher will ask, "Why do you think you always come down after you jump?" Students will turn to their elbow partner and then share their ideas. After, I would want individual students to share their ideas to the class. However, we wouldn't necessarily accept or reject these answers that they say because the book will go more into detail about that. So during the exploration / explanation of the lesson, before reading the story I Fall Down, the teacher will be demonstrating some examples where objects fall to earth. For instance, they could push an apple off of a desk and ask, "What happened when I pushed the apple off the edge? Why did the apple fall down and not go up? What pushes it down?" On their own, students can also try similar experiment, such as whole class activities. However, there are activities and examples throughout the book that we'll be reading in class, so it's like a stop and go format, just as explained in the synopsis. Yeah. And then students are going to be listening to the story during the explanation part. So when listening to the story, students will signal to the teacher when they hear the answer to the question, "What makes things fall?" And then the answer will be on page 10, like it discusses, which says, "Know what makes things fall? It's a force called gravity." And then the teacher will continue to read the story and then stop and demonstrate more examples of gravity in action. The teacher will reiterate what the story is saying by telling the class that gravity is the force that pulls on all of the objects. And then after that, we'll go into elaborate. As a class, we will reread pages 10 and 11 in the book, which explains how gravity is the force that always pulls things down. Then we'll walk to the playground and students will observe how gravity affects them as they play. For example, a student will go down the slide and the teacher will ask, "What happened? What pulled him down the slide?" Another student can throw a ball into the air and the class will watch it fall back down to earth. What pulled the ball back down to the ground? Have students discuss with their elbow partners and then share out loud. Students will all realize that gravity is a force pulling on all of these objects. And then lastly, for evaluation or evaluate, when we go back to the class, students are going to be asked to finish the sentence, "Gravity pulls," and then they're going to create illustrations to go with it. I kind of modified it so that students can do a little of independent work, and that way they can, if they go back to their seats, then they can choose the top 5 sentences that they want to illustrate, and then they will illustrate them by themselves. But I do think it would be great if every single student were to share out an idea and finish the sentence, "Gravity pulls blank." And then they'll go back to their seats and pick their top 5 and create illustrations for those. And then I would also want my students to define gravity in their own words at the bottom of the paper, and then they could turn that in, and that would show me that they have complete knowledge and that they learned from this lesson and they got their objectives that they were supposed to have learned. So yeah, that is this lesson. I think it's really a great way to introduce gravity to young learners. So yeah, I would definitely use this lesson in my class. Thank you so much. Goodbye.